Natasha apologizes to Akpabio over sexual harassment allegations. Hello viewers and welcome to InfoGist TV. The suspended lawmaker representing Kogi Central Senator Natasha Akpabio has tendered an unreserved apology to the Senate President Godswill Akpabio over the controversial sexual harassment allegations she leveled against him. However, her perceived apology was veiled in a satirical letter she wrote to the former Akpabio governor, who is currently in Rome for the late Pope Francis' funeral, made available to newsmen in Abuja. It was reported that Natasha was suspended on March 6th following a heated disagreement with the Senate leadership over a new seating arrangement which she alleged was designed to undermine her. Tensions rose further when Akpabio accused Akpabio on national television of punishing her for rejecting her purported sexual advances. During the Women in Parliament session at the Inter-Parliamentary Union meeting at the United Nations in New York, Akpabio called for the international intervention to hold the Nigerian Senate accountable. She also criticized the severe measures imposed on her, including the withdrawal of security, salary cuts and 6 months suspension from the National Assembly. Following series of legal fireworks between both parties, Natasha Akpabio and the Senate President Godswill Akpabio, the court barred the duo from talking to the press and commenting on issues until the legal outcome of the case. However, on Sunday, 2 days after Akpabio led a federal government delegation to the Vatican, the Kogi Central Senator wrote a derisive apology letter directing at the Senate President. It read, "Dear distinguished Senate President Godswill Akpabio, it is with the deepest sarcasm and utmost theoretical regret that I tender this apology for the grievous crime of possessing dignity and self-respect in your most exalted presence. I have reflected extensively on my unforgivable failure to recognize that legislative success in certain quarters is apparently not earned through merit, but through the ancient art of compliance of the very personal kind. How remiss of me not to understand that my refusal to indulge your request was not merely a personal choice but a constitutional violation of the unwritten laws of certain men's entitlement. Truly, I must apologize for prioritizing competence over capitulations, visions over vanity, and the people's mandate over private dinners behind closed doors. I now realize the catastrophic consequences of my actions. Legislation delays, tempers flared, and the tragic bruising of egos so large they require their own postcodes. For these disruptions to the natural order of quid pro quo, I bow my head in fictional shame. Please find it in your magnanimous hearts, somewhere buried deep beneath layers of entitlement, to forgive this stubborn woman who mistakenly believed that her seat in the Senate was earned through election, not erections. I remain yours in internal resistance, Senator Natasha H. Akpabio, unafraid, unbought and unbroken. Recall that earlier the Federal High Court sitting in Abuja had barred Senator Natasha Akpabio, Senate President Godswill Akpabio and the Senate from granting press, TV interviews and social media posts regarding the pending case on the suspension of the female lawmakers until the matter is decided. Justice Binta Nyako declared this in her ruling while restraining the parties and their lawyers. Previously, it was reported that Justice Obiora Egwatu had withdrawn from Senator Natasha Akpabio's pending suit, which challenges her suspension by the Senate over allegations of misconduct based on allegations of bias by one of those sued by her. The Chief Judge John Nshoho eventually reassigned the matter to Justice Binta Nyako. It was also reported that Akpabio had filed a motion ex parte marked FHC ABJ CS 384/2025 suing the Clerk of the National Assembly, the Senate, and the Senate President, and Senator Neda Emasium chairman of the Senate Committee on Ethics, Privileges and Code of Conduct. The lawmakers sought an order of interim injunction restraining the Senate committee, chaired by Masium, from proceeding with the purported investigations against her for alleged misconduct, which stemmed from events that occurred during plenary on February 20th and were referred to by the Senate on February 25th, pending the hearing and determination of the motion notice for an interlocutory injunction. It was also reported that it was amid the pending case that the Nigerian Senate went ahead to suspend Senator Akpabio for 6 months, effective March 6, 2025, citing violations of Senate rules. Justice Egwatu later announced his withdrawal from the case, citing allegations of bias leveled against the court by one of the defendants. The judge said that justice is rooted in confidence in the court and that once a litigant expresses his belief that there is a bias or likelihood of bias on the part of the judge, it will not be in the interest of justice for the judge to continue same. The judge, in its ruling on the application, Justice Binta said there should be no press interviews by parties and counsel as regards the subject matter of this case, no streaming or social media posts as regards this case by any of the parties and counsels, no TV interviews analyzing the subject matter of this case while the case is sub judice, she ruled. She equally directed the parties to ensure total media blockage on this case until the matter is decided. The court subsequently adjourned the matter to May 12, 2025 for hearing. Now, recall that the altercation between Senator Akpotudwagan and Senate President Godswill Akpabio became widely publicized after she was asked to change her seat during plenary. On February 28, 2025, Akpotudwagan accused Akpabio of making inappropriate advances towards her during a visit to his hometown in December 2023. Her suspension has sparked mixed reactions within political landscape. While some lawmakers and analysts view the decision as a necessary enforcement of legislative discipline, others argue that the penalties are excessive and could set a dangerous precedent for stifling dissent within the Senate.